Urban Regeneration, an award-winning redevelopment project in Berlin. IV. The remains of a railway system. Just over a kilometre south of Berlin's Potsdamer Platz, near the left bank of the Landwehr Canal, an extensive triangular-shaped area of waste ground once separated the neighbourhoods of Kreuzberg to the east and Schöneberg to the west. Known as Glaestraek, meaning triangle of rails, it was formed by the intersection of different railway lines built in the mid-19th century that entered Berlin from the south. Tracks, sheds and warehouses belonging to three old railway stations, Dresdner Bahnhof, 1875 to 1882, Potsdamer Bahnhof, 1838 to 1944, and Anhalter Bahnhof, 1839 to 1952, are situated on a raised area some 20 hectares in size at a height of 4 meters above the surrounding ground level. 8. Reasons why the area had become neglected. As the railway infrastructure gradually ceased to be used, the whole area of Glaestraek became increasingly run down and abandoned, to the point of being used as a rubbish tip after 1945. Meanwhile, vegetation took over, turning it into a surprising natural haven in the middle of built-up areas. The closeness of the wall, which divided the city of Berlin between 1961 and 1990, also contributed to the fact that Glaestraek was for decades clearly identified as no man's land. Only a station of the same name in Berlin's underground railway system testified to its existence. Shortly before the fall of the Berlin Wall, however, the German Museum of Technology was established there, attracting large numbers of visitors and giving visibility to the site. More importantly, the unification of the formerly divided city gave the zone more centrality, at which point it became imperative to identify a purpose for it. 1. Objectives of the regeneration project. After 2006, the state of Berlin put forward the proposal of converting Glaestraek into a large urban park that would integrate the different urban zones which converged there. The decades-long isolation of the site, which had formerly presented a problem, now represented an opportunity for joining the southern area of Potsdamer Platz with Kreuzberg and Schöneberg. The creation of the park would trigger one of the biggest urban expansions inside Berlin, all within a framework of multiple uses and social characteristics. It was necessary to stimulate the development of 16 new hectares of local amenities that would be capable of integrating different generations and social groups in a sustainable way and in harmony with nature. Following intense discussion with local proprietors and residents, the need to reconcile these goals with the conservation of railway heritage also emerged. 7. Ways of crossing the site. Once the carcass area had been subjected to a process of undergrowth clearance and decontamination, it was then organized around a combination of existing and added elements. The project as a whole was planned around a large central meadow, intersected from east to west by a concrete footpath, and from north to south by a pair of railway lines. Once a month, a train slowly travels along these lines from its parking shed to the German Museum of Technology. The concrete footpath, which is a continuation of one of the main Kreuzberg boulevards, starts in the east, bridges the 4-meter difference in ground level by means of a stairway, and suddenly ends in the west on reaching the underground lines. 3. Features and facilities of the completed development. North of the meadow, there is a large concrete slab with rounded edges. Being south-facing, this functions as a big, sunny terrace full of benches complete with footrests. In the south, the meadow overlooks Yorkstrasse, an underpass crossed by more than 15 former railway bridges. To the east of the meadow, there is quite a dense forest of pre-existing maples, oaks and birches, as well as newly planted trees of the same species. In this area, a couple of large metal frames each hold 2 swings. The edges of the park are finished with a collection of distinctive functional spaces, for example, a nursery, sports fields, concave surfaces for skateboards, stages for dancing, community gardens, or simply areas covered in gravel obtained from the site itself. 5. A positive evaluation of the finished project. Although initially the regeneration of Glaestraek Park was the subject of disagreement between those who were in favour of safeguarding the railway heritage and those who wanted to regenerate the adjacent neighbourhoods, it was opened to the public in September 2011. The heart of Berlin now has a new green lung in which the atmosphere of various small, very different corners fits neatly into a large-scale, wide-ranging and robust general order. This has been possible precisely because the intervention was not limited to conserving industrial remains in order to promote railway history. And as a reminder of the 6 decades of human absence during which nature took over, the park has been able to conserve to some extent the spirit of the non-place that preceded it.